I'm happy to welcome Jackie Macaulay from Jarrett's Jungle over in West Columbia back to Making It Grow. And tell everybody a little bit about your shop.
Well, hi, I've been there for 45 years, and we carry mostly indoor plants. So if you need something for your house, we can help you with that. We've got lots of experience. And you could see anything from an orchid to a bonsai tree to a little mini plant that you might use to build a terrarium.
Whoa!
Which is one thing that we're here to talk about today.
Okay. Well, we have to start with how the roots is going to drain and how the roots are going to be in it. So how do we start building the layers that we need?
Okay. Well, to build the layers, there are several different things that you can use.
Okay.
But I like to put a little bit of a rock or some coarse material at the bottom so that if I do overwater the terrarium, the excess water or moisture will have some place to go. So I'm going to start using something called leca. And leca is used, it's little clay balls that have been expanded. And it's lightweight.
Very.
So being lightweight, you can use it in a glass container. If you were to use rocks in the bottom and it gets heavy and you pick it up, the bottom may just drop out of it.
Whoa.
So use something like sand or these little pebbles.
Are these available locally?
Yes, you can buy them locally at a good garden center or hardware store. Some of the pet stores carry them because they're also good for some people who might raise frogs, lizards, squirrels, those kinds of things.
Not for cats and dogs.
No, not really for cats and dogs. You'd go to the pet store for the reptiles.
Okay.
To find them.
Okay.
But
and tell me what it was called again.
It's called leca.
Leca. Okay.
Yeah. And so after you get your leca in there, you can go with a little layer of charcoal. And I use this activated charcoal, and I also get this from a pet store.
Okay.
And this keeps the bacteria and the algae and the fungi from.
So you don't have to put much in.
No, just a light layer.
Okay.
And spreading it out good is a good idea so that the whole area will be covered. And carbon just absorbs excess moisture.
Okay.
Keeps your mold at bay. You can use as much as you want. Some people like to see it, so they would put like a big layer. You can also use sand. And sand is pretty because you can make a layer that'll really show up with the sand.
And this is just builder sand?
Yeah, this is just builder sand like you would use for concrete. And having different layers on the glass also adds to the interest of the terrarium.
It does.
And, gives you something else to focus on.
And this one I think
That's got all sand.
Yeah, and that's so lovely.
I didn't even put any leca in the bottom of that one.
But because of the shape of this one, that worked out very well.
Yes, it did. And this is a similar shape. And then my soil is just simply a peat mix. It's got vermiculite, it's got perlite, it's got peat moss in it.
Okay.
And it's a sterile mix. And this mix I've used for a long time. And you can use something that's really good for houseplants.
Excellent drainage.
Yeah, good drainage and something not too heavy. Because when you're working in a glass container, once again, you don't
said
want
you'd had an
anything too
unfortunate
heavy.
accident
I
one time.
did. I broke a very nice container once. So I'm going to use a piece of driftwood. I just find wood at the beach or someplace like that, and I think it just adds a little bit of interest to it. When you're making a terrarium, you want to make it feel like it's outside. You want to bring the outside inside.
All righty.
So you're trying to make like a little garden. And, back in the 1840s, this man named Frederick Ward, he created a Wardian case that enabled Kew Gardens to import a lot of plants from Africa and South America that he wouldn't have been able to had he not had it. And a Wardian case is just like a glass box.
Okay.
That's been made to transport plants in so that they stay moist and humid because they used to try to bring them back from there and they would die.
And months at
sea.
They'd
be months
Isn't
and months at sea and they would die. So he really created the terrarium, even though they didn't call it that then, they called it a Wardian case. So I didn't mess with the roots any. They're already in small containers.
You took a little bit of the extra soil
And I did.
off.
I put a little extra soil around it. And sometimes I like to use a little tool, like a little spool on a stick to kind of tamp down the soil around the plant, just to kind of
because it's hard to get your hand down in there and do all that.
Yeah, your hands are too big.
Especially as you get more stuff in there.
Right. And so you want different textures of plants. Because if you put everything the same, it'll just sort of
Boring.
blend together and be
Yeah.
boring. So you try to pick different leaf textures. So this is a lot different than the fern that I
Yes.
put in there. And you also want to use different colors. So, and if it's too large, you're just going to make it a little bit smaller
Whoa.
by picking or cutting some of your leaves off. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to use that one or the pink one. And I think I'm going to go with the pink
That's so pretty.
because I think it'll add a little more color. And it definitely needs some leaves picked off of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just make it a little bit smaller by taking some of the lower leaves off. They'll grow back from new growth, and you really don't have to pick off too many, but just some of the larger ones.
Do you have a tool that you can use after it's planted if you need to take more leaves off?
Yes, I use some long-handled scissors that I
Oh,
have.
okay, yeah.
And I wish I would have brought them to show you
Oh, that's
today.
fine.
But, you know, you can just buy any kinds of scissors that you can get down there and snip. And I've even, on the bottle types, I have created my own tool for that by using like little fingernail scissors
Gracious.
and actually putting sticks on them. So I can use, you know, clip from a very small
It's hard enough to
space.
make arrangements. This is getting way over my head.
Yeah, well, we're not doing one of those today, so we
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it too much. All right, so now I've got some color in there. Now I want like a little ground cover at the bottom.
Oh.
I'm going to use this beautiful little ficus.
Isn't it lovely?
Yes, it'll blend in well with the foliage. It's a nice dark green.
And give you a whole nother component to
And
the
this
height.
is going to be like my ground cover, so I am going to kind of split the roots off a little bit on
Okay.
this one, just to flatten him out.
Mm-hmm.
See how I just kind of flattened the roots? I didn't really pull any off. I
Yeah.
just made them like a little pancake. And I think I'm going to use my little tool. And now I'm going to ease him down in there. Use that. And just kind of bring some of your other soil around.
Get him tucked in well.
Yeah, you want to make good contact with the soil.
Of course.
Because if you don't, the plants won't really grow very well. Now, since I have a little color on this side, I'm going to put a little bit of color on the other side.
Okay, balance.
And balance, that's right. This is a Photonia. Photonia is also called a nerve plant.
A
But
nerve
they come
plant?
they come in whites and they come in pinks.
All right.
And the fuller you get it, the more you have to use your tools,
Certainly.
because you can't really get your hand down in there like you could in the beginning. I'm going to use this. Kind of tamping around.
Does
it.
anybody have needles and threads on spools anymore?
Yeah, you really need the smaller spool
Yeah.
for that, but that was the only one that I had made up. And then check it and see if you've got some spots maybe
Okay.
that you need to add some soil to.
And this is easy because we can see right through the glass.
Yeah, and I see a place like up here in the front where I might like to put a rock or some moss. And so I think I'm going to opt for some moss. You can use real moss, which,
But these are dried lichens.
yeah,
I mean,
this is a dried lichen, and I find it to be a little more long-lasting.
Okay.
Now, if you have a yard that's plentiful with moss, you know, you can just go out in your
Well,
yard
with
anytime.
this one, you don't have to worry about having soil contact either.
Right, and you might need to watch that moss a while because you might bring in some creepy crawlies in it that you didn't want in your terrarium. But you just look around to see where you might need to add a little something for some interest. I even use things like pecans. You know, just anything that gives it that sort of a woodsy feel
fun.
to
Or
it.
acorns.
Acorns
Wouldn't
would
that-
work.
yeah, that'd be fun,
I've
yeah.
seen people make little men out of the acorns, which is really cute, you know, to do things like that. And you could use like an orchid in here. The plants that stay in a terrarium get really good humidity. So when you like maidenhair ferns that you can't hardly grow in your
no.
house, if you put them in a terrarium, you
and
can grow them.
Nothing is beautiful.
They're so graceful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we need to water it.
Okay.
I was about to forget that. So I use a spray bottle to water it because it's easy to get too much water in a terrarium. And when you get too much water in it, then you end up with,
And your medium
Something that
was
won't-
not wet or damp at all.
no, it was not. And you can tell by the colors of the soil, because you can see as it's coming down, the soil gets darker. And so
Whoa.
when your terrarium needs water, the soil will be a lighter color, and you'll know when to water it.
Okay.
This also enables you to put different types of plants in your terrarium so that you can water each one individually and not have to...
If they have different requirements.
Yeah, they might have different requirements.
Wow.
Like if you have an African violet or something in there. So I think that looks really pretty.
You were telling me that this is a nice thing to take to people in a nursing home or a hospital situation because you sometimes put things in it that make it seem like you're walking through the woodlands.
That's right, especially on your larger terrarium.
Yeah.
You can really get a feel for a forest in there. And so if someone's shut in and they can't get outside, it's a lovely thing to give them. And then they do make them in plastic containers too. You can go to your pet store and buy a place that sells fish, and they'll have a plastic bowl, because I know a lot of the nursing homes and things don't allow glass, or they don't want a lot of glass.
I just think this is lovely the way it is, and it seems so natural. But some people like to have a little more fun, and I think there are things you can put them in if you want to.
Yes, there are. Some people like to put little colorful things, like we've got the little mushrooms you can put in.
It's kind of sweet, yeah.
Or we have frogs. You can put a little frog in there. You like frogs. You can even glue them to the glass if you want to have them in there. And we've got things like the little turtles.
Different colored things.
It's just, different colored things.
And are these just, where do you find all these funky little things?
I find them different places, museum stores, or, like our state museum has them.
Come on.
So you can find them lots of places.
Isn't that something? Huh.
Yeah. Just look in the children's, where the toys are.
Yeah. Well, this has just been such fun. I want to thank you so much for coming and expanding our idea about gardening.
Well, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.